Hi folks, Dave Schmidt here. Well, it's the evening of January 3rd as I'm doing this recording, and this will be for the January 4th weekly program in conjunction with the weekly live broadcast on every Wednesday night. I want to thank everybody for joining me here in the first program in the year 2017. Last year was quite interesting. Also want to thank you for allowing me to take the last 2 weeks off. I usually always take the 2 weeks off between Christmas and New Year's because, well, it's a time that I use to stop, reflect, kind of look about what I want to do and kind of be kind of quiet. I just don't answer emails unless I absolutely have to. And I assume it's a time that you do that for yourself. It's a time that you use to be with your family, to reflect on those things that are extremely important for all of us. But here we are, ready to go in a new year in the year 2017. Now, I want to make the announcement about the upcoming workshop on January 21st in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. All the information is on my website. We still have about 30 seats left that are available, but that will probably fill up and sell out because I've got about 2.5 weeks left. Now, as I have mentioned, my sources that give me this information, I have to be very careful about what I say. I'm very limited in what I can say that goes out on the internet. Why? Because people will take the information, and once it's out there on the internet, you lose control of it. They can take it, twist it, malign it. They can basically attack others. They can create real problems for my sources if I say too much. But the sources allow me to explain a lot more in a verbal setting at the workshop. If you really want to know what's going on, if you want to have your questions answered, if you want to really know what does it take to move this money, what is it going to take for it to come forward, why has there been the delays, what can we expect about how it to happen, what type of projects will be funded, all of that is available for you. I do long, extensive Q&A sessions at the workshops, and I always stay as long as any of you have a question that you want to ask. And as I said, it's there in that environment that my sources allow me to go into much more depth and detail. So there's probably something, if it's really important to you, that you're going to want to be at. Now, I am going to have some upcoming workshops. I do not have dates for them yet, but here's the locations that I'm looking at, but they're not necessarily in this order, but these will be the locations that will be scheduled over the next couple of months. Seattle, the San Francisco Bay Area, Denver, Charlotte, North Carolina, back here in Sedona in my hometown, and either Cleveland or Minneapolis. I'm not sure which one, but I'm probably leaning toward Cleveland. Those will be the ones that I will be scheduling in the upcoming future, but I can't schedule them for about another week or two. Now, with that, let me talk about tomorrow's program. I'm going to have a special guest with me that's a very special man. This is a man who has worked inside the Pentagon. He has worked inside the CIA as basically an IT, as a computer programmer contractor. He picked that up from his father. His father was one of the first computer programmers for the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, the Federal Reserve, and the IRS. He wrote programs for them. Now you can imagine IT people, they know almost everything because they have access to anything that is going on digitally, communication on the internet. So he had to have an extremely high security clearance. Well, this gentleman tomorrow night, he picked this up from his father, and the CIA worked with him, contracted with him, and he has a very high security clearance inside of the CIA. He also has been involved and been around the various connections and sources of these currency exchanges for well over 20 years. His contacts are, what can I say, far beyond anything that I had even begun to imagine. He has some of the deepest contacts I've ever had with anybody that I've ever heard of. He knows almost all the stuff that's going on in Reno. He knows almost all the stuff that's going on in Hong Kong. And also, there are other sources of things happening in Asia that he is very familiar with as well. He has relationships with people who have moved trillions of dollars through this process. He'll be here with me tomorrow night. We do not have the liberty to give his name, and no, he will not be physically visible on the air, but he will be here sitting right beside me, and we will be able to have a discussion with him. A lot of it is going to be in a Q&A format. He'll let me know. He says, well, I can't really answer that. But what also is going to be able to happen is you're going to be able to call in with your questions. So this is a wonderful guest that you're going to want to be here tomorrow night, because this man, his information comes from the very top. Let me give you one more little tidbit. For those of you that follow Neil Keenan, he's always said that there's this person out there that is the M2. The M2 would be one of the top money people or knowledgeable people of all the money around this stuff in the world. Well, this guest I'm having tomorrow night is the guy that Neil Keenan thought was the M2. Now you will hear him say, "No, I'm not the M2, but Keenan thought I was the M2." That's the depth of his information. It'd be nice to be back on the program. It'd be nice to be back on the air. It'd be nice to be back in the swing of things for a new year here in 2017. Looking forward to having all of you join us on Wednesday night, January 4th. Thanks a lot. Okay, bye-bye.